General Motors has an exceptionally strong offer on the table. It's historic. I will say we're ready for this.
The CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, just dropped a bombshell that is going to leave the automotive industry stunned. If you're a Chevy or General Motors owner, you might want to buckle up because what she revealed could change everything you thought you knew about your vehicle and the future of the brand. So what's the shocking news? How will it impact your ownership experience, and why should you care? What's happening? For decades, General Motors and its iconic Chevrolet brand have been synonymous with automotive might and reliability. These colossal industry titans have ruled the roads, earning the loyalty of millions of drivers who trusted the General Motors name to deliver quality, performance, and innovation. But now, the unimaginable has come to pass. General Motors is facing a full-blown crisis of cataclysmic proportions. The once unshakable foundation of these automotive giants is crumbling before our eyes, leaving Wall Street analysts perplexed and Chevy's fans feeling thoroughly betrayed. Of course, your first reaction is probably something like, but General Motors is such a massive established company. What could possibly happen? Well, let me explain, but before we dive into the details, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you won't miss any updates. The fall of a titan. Recent statistics present a rather concerning snapshot of General Motors' sales landscape. To put it bluntly, the third quarter of 2024 wasn't particularly kind to the automotive giant. General Motors reported a decline of 2.2% in US sales, managing to sell 659,601 vehicles, a stark contrast to the more favorable 674,336 units sold during the same quarter just 1 year prior. So, what's behind this dip? Much of the blame falls squarely on the shoulders of Chevrolet pickups, especially when it comes to sales to fleet customers. Here's the kicker. Chevy pickups experienced a staggering year-over-year sales drop of around 18%. This downward trend in sales doesn't merely point to General Motors' issues. It reflects a broader phenomenon of industry normalization after several tumultuous years marked by widespread supply chain disruptions. Let's rewind a bit to the first quarter of 2024, where the picture isn't much brighter. During this period, General Motors vehicle sales took a hit again, dropping by 1.5% and resulting in total sales of 594,233 vehicles. A jaw-dropping 22.9% decrease in fleet sales was a significant contributor to this decline. On the flip side, retail sales managed a modest 6% increase, but overall, these numbers reveal that General Motors is grappling with a tough market, struggling to sustain robust sales figures for its flagship models. Shifting gears, let's talk about unsold inventory, a crucial indicator of how well a company's products are being received in the market. When we look closely at General Motors, it becomes evident that unsold vehicles are stacking up at dealerships with alarming speed, particularly for popular Chevy models like the Silverado. This congestion in inventory is compounded by external economic pressures such as skyrocketing interest rates and persistent inflation, which are making it increasingly difficult for everyday consumers to make vehicle purchases. The implications of this unsold inventory stretch far beyond mere numbers. It ties up vital capital for General Motors and raises alarm bells about potential overproduction, while also highlighting misalignments with current market demand. But how did all this happen? Pricing dilemma. Now let's talk about the General Motors flagship truck. The Chevy High Country is now flaunting a jaw-dropping price tag of $90,000. Can you imagine shelling out that kind of cash? It's enough to make anyone do a double take. But here's the kicker. Even with that premium price, General Motors is grappling with a wave of rising costs for raw materials and labor. And here's the twist. This dilemma doesn't just impact the high-end models. No, it's spilling over into the more affordable options too. Take the Z71 2500 truck priced at a cool 88 grand. It's also feeling the teeth of this financial crunch. General Motors finds itself wobbling on a tightrope, desperately trying to keep their vehicles priced competitively while maintaining those all-important profit margins. It's a precarious balancing act that's becoming more difficult by the day. But wait, there's even more to the story. When General Motors initially reported their earnings, there was a brief uptick in their stock price that had some investors feeling a bit optimistic. However, savvy investors aren't easily fooled. As they began to dig deeper into the details, a crucial question arose. Can this automotive giant really weather the financial storm that seems to be brewing on the horizon? Just take a look at the Suburban Tahoe, another heavyweight in their lineup, tipping the scales at $88,000 and clearly targeting the luxury market. But here's the burning question: at what cost is General Motors achieving this? While the Tahoe may shine on the sales floor, the reality is that General Motors is facing a staggering number of unsold trucks sitting in dealerships. Their grand plan of boosting sales through increased advertising spending, it seems, might not be sufficient to reverse the trend. To put it into perspective, General Motors has ramped up its advertising budget by a whopping $400 million in an attempt to grab consumer attention. But here's the kicker: that figure is still less than what they were spending last year. Yikes! Talk about an uphill battle for a company trying to regain its footing. A brand in turmoil. Let's talk about the fiercely competitive world of pickup trucks, where the battle for the best-selling model is hotter than ever. General Motors' Silverado is certainly one of the frontrunners, but it's facing some hefty competition from the big guns like Ford's F-150 and Toyota's Tundra. Have you noticed how the Ford F-150 consistently crushes it in sales? It's a dominant force in the pickup truck market, often overshadowing the Silverado when it comes to consumer preference. Meanwhile, Toyota's Tundra is making a real comeback, gaining traction thanks to its solid reputation for reliability and impressive build quality. This rising popularity among its rivals serves as a flashy warning sign for General Motors. The Silverado's declining sales figures indicate an urgent need for innovation and improvement if they plan to reclaim their spot at the top of the market. When we talk about the factors influencing these sales declines, one of the biggest elements is consumer preferences, which are shifting like the wind. Nowadays, there's a noticeable upswing in the interest in fuel-efficient vehicles and electric options. However, many buyers are still sitting on the fence when it comes to fully committing to electric vehicles. Specifically for General Motors, there's been a whopping 60% rise in electric vehicle sales compared to last year. Sounds impressive, right? Yet, let's take a second to consider that this number only accounts for about 4.9% of total vehicle sales in the third quarter of 2024. This hesitance shows that while interest is growing, potential buyers remain wary. They have legitimate concerns about a few things, like the current state of charging infrastructure, range anxiety, and whether the value of electric vehicles truly measures up to traditional gas-powered vehicles. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, there is another challenge that General Motors is facing: quality issues. Let's talk about the new Chevy Silverado ZR2 models, which despite their sleek designs and impressive specs are facing some serious hiccups. Can you believe it? Some of these beauties are having gnarly engine and transmission issues after just a measly 1,500 miles on the road. I mean, come on, that's like stepping into a brand new pair of shoes only to have them fall apart before you even make it to the door. And then there is the much hyped launch of the Chevy Blazer electric vehicle. This rollout has been an absolute circus, mainly due to a slew of software problems that forced General Motors to slam the brakes on sales right out of the gate. It felt like they were trying to launch a brand new car while still figuring out how to ride a bike. This is not exactly the kind of first impression that'll have customers lining up around the block, is it? Now, you might be pondering how all these issues will impact Chevrolet and the sprawling empire that is General Motors. This situation is a recipe for disaster. These quality control snafus are more than just embarrassing public relations missteps. They pose significant threats to General Motors' brand reputation and future sales. Let's be real, who in their right mind would want to drop hard-earned cash on a Chevy that might break down before you can even plan your next road trip? And here's the kicker: General Motors isn't exactly cruising through smooth waters as it is. The company is already grappling with some serious financial and operational obstacles. You can bet that these quality control disasters are cranking up the heat, making it all the more challenging for them to regain consumer trust and firm up their footing in the competitive market. When you think about it, it's a classic case of the adage, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. But I'll give credit where it's due. Chevrolet and General Motors are not going down without a fight. They've got to scramble to turn things around and prove to the world that they can still deliver the quality and dependability that loyal customers have come to expect. Let's face it, the writing is on the wall. Their sales figures are diving, their internal issues are piling up, and those once lucrative profit margins? It's not just a matter of if they'll face bankruptcy, but more like when it might become a reality. And folks, that day might be looming closer than anyone dares to admit. So, what's General Motors' game plan to navigate through these choppy waters? They're not just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. The 2024 Chevrolet Silverado models have taken a bold leap forward, introducing a slew of updates that aim to elevate performance, design, and technological sophistication. These changes aren't just random tweaks, they stem from careful consideration of consumer feedback and a keen awareness of the fierce competition in today's automotive market. Let's take a closer look at the specific enhancements that have been made to the Silverado lineup. Are these upgrades enough to put past criticisms to rest? Let me explain. Reviving a legacy. Previous iterations of the Silverado faced criticism, especially regarding lifters and injectors. General Motors claims to have upped their game in quality control, but can they truly silence the doubters? That's the million-dollar question on consumers' minds as they ponder the integrity of these 2024 models. Comfort and usability have been hot topics for truck enthusiasts and past Silverado drivers alike. Previous versions often missed the mark in this department, but the new models appear to have taken note. The upgraded seating materials provide a plush experience, while the use of authentic leather-wrapped surfaces and real wood accents on select trims creates a truly premium cabin atmosphere. Want more? The redesigned center console boasts improved storage options, including a handy wireless charger and a whopping 10 cup holders. Yes, 10. Finally, the complaints about inadequate space might just be a thing of the past. Finally, let's talk fuel efficiency, an increasingly important factor for today's truck buyers. The 5.3-liter V8 engine has recorded improvements in fuel economy compared to earlier models. During real-world testing, drivers have seen enhancements that are not only commendable, they reflect the shifting priorities of consumers who want power but also crave better fuel efficiency. But once damage is done, it leaves a mark, doesn't it? No matter how many updates Chevy rolls out, the underlying issues still cast a long shadow. Chevy is grappling with some serious consequences stemming from its past mistakes, and it's impossible to ignore the impact. Let me explain. Reliability in ruins. The reliability of vehicles plays a crucial role in shaping consumer confidence and brand loyalty. And for automotive giants like General Motors and its renowned Chevrolet brand, this is especially true. Recent reports have unearthed significant reliability challenges, with various Chevy models casting a shadow over the brand's reputation and raising alarms about its financial health and competitive stance in the marketplace. Let's address the erosion of consumer confidence. Reliability issues are not merely minor inconveniences. They directly correlate with how consumers perceive and trust a brand. Recent evaluations reveal that Chevrolet has not fared well in this regard. For 2024, Consumer Reports awarded Chevy a dismal score of 42 out of 100, placing it below many of its competitors and even some other American brands. This low rating raises red flags for potential buyers, who often turn to these assessments when weighing their purchasing decisions. If consumers believe that Chevy vehicles lack dependability, they are far less likely to invest in new models, especially given the premium prices often associated with Chevy's offerings. With growing awareness of these reliability issues, potential customers might start to doubt the long-standing Chevrolet slogan, "Built to last." The very idea that a vehicle could leave an owner stranded is a significant psychological barrier. Why would anyone fork over their hard-earned cash for a car that doesn't inspire faith in its performance and durability? This skepticism can seep into the sales figures, causing customers to steer clear of Chevy and lean toward brands that have solid reliability reputations. Companies like Toyota or Honda have long been lauded for their dependable vehicles. But what about its long-term implications? Once a brand's reputation is tarnished, the road to restoring consumer loyalty can be treacherously riddled with obstacles. If consumers feel let down by a brand due to consistent reliability failures, they are not likely to forgive and forget. Instead, they may abandon any plans for future purchases and take to social media or word of mouth to share their negative experiences. This kind of public discourse can escalate rapidly, wreaking havoc on General Motors' reputation and complicating efforts to rebuild consumer trust. Now, consider General Motors' ambitious plans to transition toward electric vehicles. This focus could be severely undermined by troubling reliability perceptions. If consumers begin to associate Chevy's present reliability challenges with its future electric vehicle offerings, they might hesitate to invest in these innovative technologies. As the automotive industry hurtles toward electrification, gaining consumer trust in brand new electric vehicle models becomes a top priority. General Motors' success in this transformation hinges on a robust reputation reputation for reliability. Without it, potential buyers may remain skeptical of their commitment to quality and safety in the evolving world of electric automobiles. In essence, reliability is not merely a checkbox on a spec sheet, it is the lifeline connecting consumers to the brands they trust. Chevrolet needs to address its reliability issues head-on or risk losing. Resale value. Depreciation in resale value is a hidden but powerful beast lurking behind the scenes of vehicle ownership, particularly for those models plagued by reliability concerns. When vehicles are perceived as unreliable, they face a harsh truth. Their value takes a nosedive a lot faster than their dependable rivals. Think about it. When a specific Chevy model repeatedly garners negative reliability ratings and headlines filled with mechanical failures, potential buyers are smart enough to notice. That model's resale value plummets, likely falling off a cliff much faster than the competitors from brands that are trusted for their durability and consistency. This depreciation affects more than just the owners who are trying to sell their vehicles. It has a ripple effect that influences anyone considering a purchase. If potential buyers are aware that Chevy vehicles often suffer from rapid depreciation due to ongoing reliability issues, they're more likely to think twice, maybe even 3 times, before investing their hard-earned cash in a shiny new Chevy. Why would anyone want to buy a vehicle that's almost anticipated to lose value quickly? It doesn't exactly scream wise investment, does it? And then there's the insidious cycle that ensues. This cycle creates a downward spiral. Declining resale values lead to growing consumer skepticism, which in turn diminishes interest in Chevy models, resulting in even lower sales and brand trust. Imagine the frustration for current owners trying to sell their Chevy vehicles. They're caught in a perfect storm, watching their investment spiral downward, and potential buyers are rightfully wary given the brand's recent history. It becomes a vicious cycle that's hard to break. As consumers begin to connect the dots, they quickly realize that purchasing a vehicle linked to reliability issues is akin to throwing money out the window. The connection between declining resale value and consumer behavior is crystal clear. As potential owners become increasingly reluctant to buy, Chevy faces another hurdle on its road to recovery. As General Motors steers through an automotive landscape fraught with rapid change, the company finds itself facing a multitude of challenges that will inevitably shape its strategic outlook. The stakes are high, from fierce competition in the market to evolving consumer demands and groundbreaking technological advancements. General Motors must reinvent itself to not only maintain its foothold, but to ensure long-term sustainability in this tumultuous era. Challenges ahead. The first challenge General Motors confronts is the competitive landscape, an arena that is undergoing a seismic shift. The automotive industry isn't just evolving, it's transforming at a dizzying pace. Traditional automakers are no longer the only players on the field. They are now battling fierce competition from both established rivals and nimble newcomers, especially in the burgeoning electric vehicle segment. Take Tesla, for instance. This trailblazer has set an impossibly high bar for what electric vehicles can and should be, dominating the market with cutting-edge technology and a fanatically loyal customer base. Meanwhile, foreign automakers like Volkswagen and emerging players from China are aggressively entering the electric vehicle market, rolling out affordable models that draw in budget-conscious consumers. General Motors' strategy of balancing gas-powered vehicles with a gradual shift to electric vehicles is fraught with risk. If they don't step up their electric offerings, they might find themselves falling behind in a race they can't afford to lose. Then there are the domestic rivals. Ford and Stellantis are stepping up their game in the electric vehicle space, giving General Motors even more to contend with. Ford's F-150 Lightning is not just a vehicle, it's a statement piece that has captured significant consumer attention and sales. On the other side of the equation, Stellantis has not been idle. They've launched exciting new models under their iconic Jeep and Dodge brands. For General Motors, this means more than just competition. It requires finding innovative ways to differentiate its own products and capture consumer interest in a crowded marketplace. But it's not just competition that General Motors needs to think about. Technological advancements are revolutionizing the automotive industry, and companies must stay ahead of this curve. General Motors has pledged significant investments in electric vehicle technology, with ambitious goals to launch no fewer than 9 new all-electric models by 2024. However, this lofty ambition comes with its own challenges: the need for substantial financial backing and a reliable supply chain for critical components, especially batteries, cannot be overstated. Recently, General Motors announced a troubling scaling back of production targets for its electric vehicles, adjusting from a previous goal of 400,000 units down to a range between 200,000 and 300,000. This move reflects stark realities as General Motors navigates the intricate dance of achieving profitability while ramping up production. Now, let's talk about evolving consumer expectations. Today's consumers are not static, they are dynamic, and their preferences shift rapidly, shaped by factors like environmental consciousness, technological innovations, and ever-changing lifestyles. There's a clear demand for sustainability among the public. More and more, consumers expect automakers to produce environmentally friendly vehicles as governments worldwide are tightening emissions regulations. This growing expectation places immense pressure on General Motors to expedite its transition to electric vehicles while ensuring that its internal combustion engine models remain compliant with environmental standards. So what are the possible solutions? Strategic recommendations. To effectively steer through the myriad challenges it faces, General Motors must take bold and strategic steps to reshape its future in the automotive landscape. The path ahead is fraught with obstacles, but by embracing the right recommendations, General Motors can not only navigate the turbulent waters, but also seize opportunities for growth and innovation. First and foremost, General Motors should accelerate its electric vehicle development, positioning it as a top priority. This isn't just a matter of keeping up, it's about racing ahead. To do this, General Motors must focus on streamlining production processes, investing heavily in efficient manufacturing practices that simultaneously cut costs and enhance output. As the demand for electric vehicles skyrockets, having a robust production system will be crucial. Equally important is the enhancement of battery technology. Collaborating with established battery manufacturers or even investing in developing proprietary battery technology can give General Motors a significant competitive edge. It's all about achieving superior range and performance that can captivate consumers looking for reliability and innovation. What does this mean for the consumer? Longer lasting batteries that charge faster and go further. Who wouldn't want that? Next, General Motors needs to reinforce its brand positioning to regain the trust and loyalty of a consumer base that has been wary due to past reliability concerns. This trust won't